A mea culpa from a former Morrison government minister.
Do you take any responsibility for what the government of which you were part did?
Oh, absolutely, Commissioner. As a senior member of the government, I take absolute responsibility as part of Cabinet solidarity for this.
Still, Stuart Robert thinks he deserves some credit.
But I also take responsibility for being the minister that called it out to say we've got to get advice and stop it.
He was the minister in charge of Robodebt in 2019. The Commission heard he knew income averaging, the method used to assess Centrelink debts, was wrong, but he supported the scheme publicly anyway.
Ministers are required to defend the government's programs, regardless if they agree with them or not.
Conceding he made false public statements.
I remain a cabinet minister and am responsible for holding the cabinet line.
The Commissioner wasn't buying it.
And as a dutiful cabinet minister, ma'am, that's what we do.
Misrepresent things to the Australian public?
I wouldn't respectfully put it that way.
Mr. Robert claims his department withheld critical legal advice from him for months, and if he'd seen it, he would have acted sooner to stop the scheme.
I had it for 2 hours and walked straight into the Prime Minister's office to put a stop to it.
And despite a seemingly good eye for detail,
I'm a prolific diarist. I'm a prolific act reader.
Mr. Robert couldn't recall telling his former department secretary to double down on Robodebt after he learned it was unlawful.
She says that you said words to the effect, legal advice is just advice.
The idea that I'd come out of the Prime Minister's office, who's agreed with the Solicitor General's view, that I would then ignore those two and say we're going to double down on the same project, doesn't make any sense at all.
Later, Marise Payne, who was Human Services Minister when Robodebt was proposed, was questioned for a second time. She said she had no control over the budget process.
I was the junior minister in the portfolio to the senior cabinet minister.
That senior minister was Scott Morrison. Kira Jones, ABC News, Brisbane.